So what is a linear groove? I'm going to explain this to you the same way that Kim Plainfield explained this to me in lessons, because like you at one point, my assumption for a linear groove was that no two voices could come together. So if I was to do something like this, that would be linear because nothing ever comes together. And that is linear. There's no doubt about it. However, in lessons with Kim, we were doing some Dave Garibaldi stuff, and he kept on referring to some of these grooves as linear, where voices were clearly coming together. And I said, wait a second, isn't it linear when no two things come together? So to that, he said, okay, you know what? Play me a basic sango, the most basic pattern of it. So that sounds like this. Which is linear. He's like, yeah, okay, so that's linear, right? Good. Now play that exact same beat, but put the hi-hat on the upbeats. Is it no longer linear now because that hi-hat is coming together with some of those voices? That's breaking the rule, right? But it doesn't change the vibe of that groove. That groove is still linear, even though voices are coming together. A non-linear beat like this, that clearly is not linear. But let's do a beat that's more like that, but none of the voices come together, like this. See, I wouldn't call that linear. None of the voices are coming together. So by your definition, that's a linear beat. But to me, that's not linear at all. That doesn't have a linear vibe. So linear to me, or to Kim, the way he explained it, is when the feel of it kind of moves in a line. So for example, if you play like a paradiddle, in and of itself, that creates a kind of a linear pattern. Now, if I were to put a bass drum pattern under that, the bass drum's lining up on voices, but it doesn't change the fact that it's linear. When he explained it to me like that, that opened up my perception of how to think about linear beats. It also gave me a lot more options, because now I could indeed add things like flams or have voices coming together and still create a linear vibe. So according to Kim Plainfield, linear is not necessarily about the idea that voices can't come together. It's the flow of the groove itself. Now, I could have stuck to my old paradigm that I had learned from other teachers, that a linear beat means nothing ever comes together and everything's in its own spot. But the way Kim explained it to me really made sense. And as a student, you have to decide, because sometimes teachers don't always agree. So you have to look at both sides of it and think about which thing makes the most sense to you and adopt that. And for me, Kim's methodology made the most sense. So that's the way I teach it to my students. But at the end of the day, you have to do what makes the most sense to you. So I hope that helps.